All right, guys, Jameson and Alex here. Today, we're bringing you 4 unique race options from Caliya's Chronicle of Runes Kickstarter. More on that later. Don't want to miss out on this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to be entered in our D&D Beyond Sourcebook Bundle giveaway. That being said, let's get right to it.
So, the first option is for the dwarves, and it is the Azerblood subrace option. So, suggested ability score increase is strength of 1, because with base dwarf, you're going to get constitution of 2. So, this is the modifiers all the other dwarf subraces get. Right. You get an extra language. You can speak, read, and write Ignan, the fire elemental, language, which makes sense. You see the gorgeous artwork on there. It immediately makes me think of, like, Dark Iron Dwarf from WoW. I can't help it. Like, the skin tone's different, but all the fiery infused bits, it's very much on the nose for it. Your other unique ability we have is Ignite Essence. As a bonus action, you can cause your elemental essence to erupt, igniting your weapons and superheating your body for 1 minute. When you do so, and at the start of each of your turns for the duration, any creature that is grappling you takes 1d6 fire damage and must succeed on a Constitution saving throw with a DC of 8 plus your con mod plus your proficiency bonus, or release your searing body, ending the grapple. A creature that is immune to fire damage automatically succeeds on this saving throw. Kind of makes sense since it's a fire damage based, check and all. While your fiery form persists, you shed bright light in a 10-foot radius and dim light for an additional 10 feet. So you're a walking little lantern. That's hilarious more than anything. And whenever you hit a target with a melee weapon attack, the target takes an extra fire damage equal to half of your proficiency bonus rounded down. Once you use this feature, you cannot use it again until you finish a long rest. And you also do have resistance to fire damage.
Pretty standard for race options.
Yeah, they usually are once a day.
Yeah, because you don't want it to be too strong right off the bat.
Yeah, because it is a race option. It's not something your class is going to get everything else. So yeah,
and I like this. I like the flavor of this.
Yeah, very much.
It does have some interesting, uses to it. It is a short duration on there, but it's got some cool effects.
Right, because it's one of those things where it has both an exploratory because of the light option and a combat use. So but if you use it for exploratory, you end up using combat, you're just losing out on the fire damage and the grapple thing.
A minute, so it's a little more niche.
Yeah, so you won't feel like I wasted that. Use it be our glowing light for exploring the cave. It's not really that much damage, but again, it's flexible.
And the one thing I do like too is depending on what class you pick. Like if you picked a fighter. That fire damage later on is going to, even though it's only half of your proficiency bonus, which is nice because it scales.
Yeah, 3 and 4 attacks.
12 extra free damage.
Yep.
It's cool.
Yeah, adding in flat little damage like that's guaranteed is undervalued for sure.
Yeah. The second option we have on here is the Pterogoblin. Kind of like a bat-winged goblin. With this one, the suggested ability score is dexterity by 2 and wisdom by 1. And this is a full race, it's not a sub-race, so it's going to have a little bit more in-depth to it. With this, the age of Pterogoblins, they reach maturity roughly twice as fast as humans, around 8 or 9 years of age. They have a lifespan of 50 to 60 years. Common alignment are typically chaotic, tend toward neutrality, though they are seldom good. So again, these are just suggestions just to kind of get you on the flavor and feel of the race option.
The general idea, the design, what they intend, but you can always break away from what they intention if you want to for your character's sake, obviously.
Right. And then for the actual kind of mechanic stuff on here, your size is small, typically grow a little over 3 feet. Speed is 30, which is normal, and you also have climbing speed equal to your walking speed, which is great to have that extra utility. You have dark vision as well, 60 feet, always helpful to have that. And then the main ability that goes on here, there's a couple of them. First is echolocation. As a bonus action, you can emit a high-pitched frequency, which is inaudible to creatures that lack the echolocation trait. Until the end of your turn, you have blind sight out to a range of 30 feet. If you are deafened or unable to speak, you can't use this trait. You can use this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Regain all uses when you finish a long rest. So this one, again, ability is super helpful at all levels.
Yep.
Like even at higher levels, something goes invisible, blind sight is going to help.
Yep.
So it's cool to have abilities that remain relevant throughout your entire.
Yeah, if something else magically blinds you, you can still see. As long as you're not blind and deafened for some reason. Usually, the whole blind and deafness spell, you get one or the other, not both. You still can get around that. So.
Right. So that is nice. And then you also get glide. Whenever you fall or are falling at the start of your turn, you can use your reaction to extend your arms and begin gliding instead. While gliding in this way, you descend at a rate of 60 feet per round, but can use your movement to glide up to 2 feet horizontally for every 1 foot you descend. If you are knocked prone, become incapacitated, or choose to end your glide, no action required, you begin falling again. If you land while gliding, you take no fall damage and land on your feet. So it's kind of like the new, what is it, Herdosian?
Yeah.
The monkey.
Yeah, the flying monkeys from Wizard of Oz. Yeah.
Terrifying.
That's what I think of anyway.
But it's kind of in that similar vein on there.
Yeah.
Just as a reference point, and for balance sake as well. If something like that exists already, it's a little bit more open to be used again.
Right.
As long as you're careful with this.
Yep.
Nimble Escape you also have, which is disengage or hide action as a bonus action on each of your turns, which is awesome. Get a little bit of that rogue feel.
Yep.
And then lastly, you can speak, read, and write Common and Goblin. So pretty well rounded on here. Get some movement abilities, some vision, and that disengage or hide as a bonus action.
And
really
do want to stress again, that seems like it's a lot more than what the other option was that I read off. But again, that's a full race instead of just a sub-race like it's Azerblood. It's still a base dwarf, so you're still going to get the other things that come with base dwarf. These are the sub-race additional options.
So before we get on to the second two races on here, we have just a little bit more information about the Kickstarter. This one is got a lot to it. Obviously, there's new races, new sub-races, new subclasses.
Yep.
Everything that you expect to see from us on our channel.
Yep.
With that kind of stuff. So we always like to promote those kind of Kickstarters because you guys obviously like it because you watch our videos.
Right. And as if you haven't already seen our video about the seasonal sorcerer, we did a video about that from this Kickstarter as well. Again, seasonal, it plays around the autumn, spring, winter, summer, and solstice and things like that, and kind of shifts different spells. Very cool, very thematic. Feels like a kind of almost druidy nature, but sorcerer.
Right.
Kind of a very interesting blend between the two.
And one thing I think that's great about this too is the creator of this project, which is Caliya's Chronicle of Runes, also contributed to editing and design for some of the projects like Griffin's Saddlebags, Book 1 and 2,
Yep.
Mage Hand Press with their Velda's Spire of Secrets, which we did both of those things.
Yeah, you've seen a lot of that from us if you've watched our videos.
One thing that we haven't gone over as of yet is Loot Tavern's Helliana's Guide to Monster Hunting, which was also worked on by the creator of this. So some great experience, and you can tell with the way these things are crafted in the race options that we covered and the subclass that you can get that experience. You can tell.
And I think, and speaking from experience for ourselves, as we've been in deep in crafting our own classes and subclasses and all these other features that we've been working on for our own stuff. That as many videos we've done, the more reviewing we've done, we can tell how much of an easier process it is for us because we kind of tossed around that idea years ago, doing that one day. We're like, there's no way we could ever make that happen. But again, when you spend so much time doing this kind of thing and you put the effort into it, it becomes so much more of your process, which makes sense why somebody like this could put together some solid content.
There's also, of course, 80 monsters, magic items and things. And one of the big things is the rune system where you can etch runes onto items and create magic items with those runes.
Yep.
Like you have celestial, dwarvish, elvish, all kinds of different runes that are going to be thematic to those items. So really cool Kickstarter. Don't want to miss out on this one. There's also some cool mega huge Dracolisk mini stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Some dice as well. Some really cool physical things as well with this one. So don't want to miss out on it. Awesome quality. Link in the description down below.
Check it out.
Let's keep going.
The third race option that we have is Tiefling Ice Devil lineage. So we completely go like the far opposite extreme from what you imagined a Tiefling to be with the Ice Devil. So the suggested ability score increases are strength of 2 and intelligence of 1. You have resistance to both cold and fire damage, which is interesting. It's almost like they have their base Tiefling lineage still comes through with the fire resistance, but they're so used to both, they get both resistance, so it's kind of fun. And then their, unique feature we have here is Icy Legacy. You know the Ray of Frost cantrip, which is cool, even if you're not a caster. Like you could play a barbarian and still have a cantrip, give you a little bit of ranged something, which is great. And starting at 3rd level, you can use a bonus action to harness the fiendish energy coursing through your icy veins, channeling it into your body weapons for 1 minute. This should sound familiar if you listen to the other one. For duration, once on each of your turns, when you hit a target with a melee attack, you can deal extra cold damage equal to half your level, rounded up. The target that took this cold damage provokes an opportunity attack before the start of your next turn. The attack roll against it is made with advantage. Once you harness this energy, you can't do so until you finish a long rest. So it goes completely on the offensive with a little extra utility on it, instead of having both the defensive anti-grapple and a little offensive ability plus the light option. So it's more pigeonholed into being a combat exclusive mechanic than like the Azerblood Dwarf is, but still very cool.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, the flavor and theme of it is
so awful.
Yes. And then lastly on here we have a Halfling Kismet, which is just a variant on that. So with this subrace option, you're going to get a suggested ability score increase of Wisdom or Intelligence by 1. You also get 2 abilities. First is Fateful Luck. When you use your lucky trait, you can choose to call upon fate instead of re-rolling the die. When you do so, you treat the die as if you rolled a number equal to 10 plus your proficiency bonus. Once you use this trait, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. So essentially, it's like you're getting reliable talent that you can use at will once a day, which is
pretty much
really interesting. If you know you need a specific number, and you have the proficiency on there that you need to hit that number, then you just guarantee lock in that instead of risking, even with a reroll, you might still fail again.
Yep.
So very situational, but can be very helpful if you are aware of how difficult something might be, and you roll a natural 1, for example. Yep. You also have Prescient Intuition. You are proficient in the Insight skill. In addition, starting at 3rd level, you can cast the Augury spell once with this trait, requiring no material components. You regain the ability to cast this spell with this trait when you finish a long rest. Your spellcasting ability for this spell is either Intelligence or Wisdom, whichever you chose for the ability score increase trait.
Makes sense.
Just a little bit more RP on there, just to get some Augury cast, and just learn a little bit more. So overall, just some really flavorful, interesting thematic race options and sub-race options. So definitely worth checking out on this one. There is a 16-page free PDF document that you can download on the Kickstarter, so we'll have a link to that below. Check that out so you can get this if you want to get this, and some rune stuff, some of the subclasses, and some monsters as like a sample. And I don't think you're going to be disappointed by this one.
No.
Because there's some great quality, like I said, and great experience. There's also some featured other creators on here, some of which we've done reviews for in the past as well, which are going to be featured, some of their items and content in the book as well. So just kind of bring in some other creators into this conglomeration of homebrew excellency. But that's going to be it for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications so you know when all of our new videos are coming out. As always, thanks for watching.